Morning. We are here again. What date is it? The time and dates. It's 6:30, just about. October the 3rd. Oh, I left the cupboard open. Can hear something. I know what it is. 1 second. Ugh. I had a curry last night for me tea and left the microwave door open. Should we try that again? That's more like it. Okay, good morning. It is the 3rd of October 2019. We're nearly out of this little lot, aren't we? It'll soon be into the 2020s. Time just flies, doesn't it? So, I've not been on for a while. Just had a few things going on. Needed a bit of time to sort a few things out. And for those of you that have been following me on my Facebook page, you know I have a new truck, or a newer truck. Got a 68 plate Actros now. I've had it a couple of weeks and we've been getting moved into it, although it's exactly the same layout as the other one that I had. I was just trying to cut back on a few bits that I carry, because I do carry an awful lot of rubbish. As I think most drivers do. Whether it's a bit quieter on the road or not, I don't know. It's definitely a lot smoother on the road. Definitely don't get hurled around as much. The other one was pretty bad, to be fair. Every time you hit a bump, you just lost everything. Everything jumped up. So this one's definitely a lot smoother on the road. I don't know if it's any quieter. I'm trying out another microphone. I've got this one plugged into the wireless one, but I've got a little microphone up here somewhere. There it is. And whether it's any better or not than the other one, we will see. I had a few comments about microphone noise, about the truck's noise. Can we have less truck noise, more you? I'm afraid, folks, it is what it is, really. I've tried all kinds of microphones and I can't really help the noise that the truck makes or the road. It just is what it is. What you hear is what I hear. So if you want an in-cab experience, you've pretty much got it. So there we go. I'm hoping this microphone might pick up my voice better. We'll see. We'll see. So it's pretty much the same old. We're off to Sileby today, which is near Leicester. Be picking up a load of, normally it's like block paving or something like that. It's concrete products, building supplies, and I can't remember where we're going with it. I've got all the details somewhere on the phone. We'll see when we get there. But we're about half an hour away from Sileby. We'll be there. It opens at 7, we think. We'll be there about 7:05. We'll go and sign in, open the curtains, and then they'll pile the stuff on. And then we bring it round the corner, strap it all down, and off we go. Now, whether or not we get a chance to set the camera up to record any or all of that is another thing, because normally they're on a bit of a mission, especially first thing in the morning. Everybody tends to turn up at the same time. see when we get there. Right, we'll love you and leave you for a bit. We'll concentrate on the drive-in. We're just parked up not too far away from Colville last night, probably about 20 minutes away. So we're just coming back through Colville now, and we'll make our way out to Leicester or Loughborough. It's kind of Loughborough, Mount Sorrel, out that way. I don't know if you can pick that up or not. I've got a boob boob, stand clear, this vehicle is turning left. I've got one of them. And we got a brand spanking new trailer on today. Had it on yesterday, everywhere I went yesterday. I kept saying to the guys, don't scratch it, don't scratch it. If you scratch it, I'll get the blame. But I think today that may change, because they tend to just throw everything on and then you've got to strap it down, and when you strap it down you've got to put your clips onto the chassis of the trailer. So I think today may be the day we might start knocking a bit of paintwork off. Sorry boss. Okay. Been loaded, and just as I thought, they're just too quick and too busy to get time to move cameras about. But I've got to move it around the corner, strapped down just by the exit, and it is very busy around there, so I don't think we're going to get a chance to do a video there either, unfortunately. The trouble with these places is everything's made of concrete. You're just got to be very, very careful. Make sure you don't catch anything on the way around. At this place they do keep an eye on you. They make sure that every single pallet is strapped. They won't let you leave if you're not strapped down. I suppose one of the things about being a driver is you've got to find your way around all these places. Sometimes it takes a few times to get your bearings. But we're allowed to pull into any of these little places with the yellow and black on them. These are the strap down areas. I normally come into this one, it's a little bit wider. Just gives you a little bit more room to play with. So we'll go and get strapped down, and I shall catch up with you in a bit. We are loaded, we have strapped down. It's now 9:10. Get rid of my bump cap. And we are heading for, I just had a look at that and I can't remember where it was going, Westbury, which is near Bath, down south. So we're a colossal 44 tonnes of paving blocks, you know, like when you have your fancy driveways done. Look like bricks, but I think they're called paving blocks, something like that. Well, that's what we have on board, going to a builder's place all the way down south. It's just under 200 miles from here, so we're looking probably about 5 hours drive time, so we'll need a break as well. So I would imagine we'll be there somewhere round about about 3 o'clock. Thank you very much. Sorry, I had committed. The trouble with these big old lorries is, especially with these Mercs, they don't always take off straight away, but especially when you're fully loaded. And that 4x4 was way up the road when I decided to go. And obviously travelling a little bit too fast. There's a 40 miles per hour speed limit on this road. I reckon she was doing at least 60. And now we're coming into a 30. Now at the moment we're at Sileby. Hang on a second, I've got work on the phone. Typical. Wherever it's gone, down here somewhere. Let me just give work a ring. Sorry? Yeah, I've been loaded. I'm just leaving now. Oh no. Cheers. Bye. Okay, we'll start that one again. That's just work rigging, just to make sure that we've got loaded, because we have been there quite a while, 2 hours. Just takes time. There's quite a bit went on, then you've got to strap it all down. There's a bit of a queue when we got there, so we're all good. So yes, what I was saying was we are coming into the village of Barrow upon Soar, and this part of the road is actually a 7.5 tonne limit except for loading, and there's only a couple of ways that you can get into that landscaping place. Get rid of that now. And normally there's a road directly opposite that you can go into the landscaping place, but because it's been raining rather heavily. That road is actually flooded, just the usual. And so we have to use this road because we've got no other way of doing it. As you can see, the queues can be quite entertaining sometimes. So we'll cut it short there, and we'll catch up a bit further down the road, because there's not an awful lot to see and do here whilst we're just sat in traffic. So we'll catch up in a little bit. Ta-ra for now. Okay, we'll start that one again. That's just work ringing, just to make sure that we've got loaded, because we have been there quite a while, 2 hours. Just takes time. There's quite a bit went on, and then you've got to strap it all down. And there's a bit of a queue when we got there, so we're all good. So yes, what I was saying was we are coming into the village of Barrow upon Soar, and this part of the road is actually a 7.5 ton limit except for loading, and there's only a couple of ways that you can get into that landscaping place. Get rid of that now. And normally there's a road directly opposite that you can go into the landscaping place, but because it's been raining rather heavily, that road is actually flooded, just the usual. And so we have to use this road because we've got no other way of doing it. As you can see, the queues can be can be quite entertaining sometimes. So we'll cut it short there, and we'll catch up a little bit further down the road, because there's not an awful lot to see and do here whilst we're just sat in traffic. So we'll catch up in a little bit. Ta-ra for now. Well, you maybe remember me talking about a friend of mine that's been doing his Class 1 lately, Cy Williams. I can't remember where I got to with the story. He went for his Class 1 and he had a technical problem with the truck, and they had to abort the test. I think he was actually with the lady that tested me when I went for my test, but they decided, because of the problem with the truck, it'd be better just to cut it short. I think they ended up getting recovered back or something, so a bit of a shame, because he'd done really well up till then. When he resat his test, it was last week or the week before now, and passed with flying colours, so congratulations, well done sir. Now the fun and games start. And it kind of got me thinking into why I started these videos in the first place, and it was to help people that were coming into the industry, those that were thinking about coming into industry, and also those that have just passed. What to expect, and any advice that can be passed on. Now, obviously I've only been doing it a couple of years, but I have been on the road for a long time. Coaches and buses before this, been all over Europe doing that. But the actual haulage industry, apart from taking cars all over the country and doing a bit of hospital 7.5 ton stuff. Now you see, if I'd have been in the other truck on that bump, everything would have come off the racks and out the shelves, and I'd have ended up with black eyes and all sorts. Anyway, back to the story. Yes, I've only been doing it properly for 2 years, and I started off listening to advice from other truck drivers. What do you think I should do? Go full time, do a bit of agency work, and everybody was kind of giving me different advice really, and I think it very much depends on you as an individual. If you go agency, you'll end up with all kinds of work, so you can try all sorts of stuff out. The trouble is with an agency is they will want you to fill the gaps that they can't fill. So when you're new on their books, even though you've got your class 1 or your class 2, they'll probably try and palm you off with some van driving or 7.5 ton or something. And that's not really what you want, especially if you've done that kind of work before. You just want to get out there and get driving. And the trouble is, in a year's time, when somebody says, "Oh, have you had a year's experience?" You say, "Yeah," and they'll say, "Well, what have you been driving?" And you say, "Well, 7.5 tonner." Yes, you could keep that quiet, and I don't think personally there's a lot of difference between 7.5 ton work and class 2, apart from you're a bit heavier, probably a bit more busy. I don't know. 7.5 ton work can be really busy, you know, and it's the same kind of work. You're still using pump trucks, you're probably using a tail lift if you've got one. I found with class 2 there was a bit more forklift involvement, where they would load and unload you, but you still end up doing quite a lot of the work yourself. And with class 1, it's quite rare, depending what you're doing of course, that you have to get involved with the loading and unloading, apart from strapping down and securing your load. So it's very difficult. I think, you know, as soon as you've passed your test, it's probably wise just to get in there and get started, you know, give yourself some experience. And especially this time of year, we're in October now, so the mornings are getting, you know, darker, the evenings are darker, you've got the rain, you've got the mist, you've got the fog, you've got sun in your face early afternoon. You know, it does make the job a bit more difficult, especially to begin with. I kind of find now I've been doing it a couple of years, you just find yourself doing stuff and reverses that would have absolutely scared the life out of you 2 years ago. You're not even looking at them now, you're just getting on with it, just doing it. But you've got to get that experience from somewhere, and you've got to start at some point. So the quicker you can get behind the wheel, the better it will be for you in the long run. And again, especially at this time of year, because we are running out of daylight, and no matter what anybody says, and I think especially as well when you get older, you know, and your eyes aren't quite the same as when you were younger, sometimes working when it's darker, yeah, it could be harder. Yes, the roads are quieter, yeah, you know, there's not as many trucks out on the road, but the majority of them will all be parked up in either lay-bys or at service areas. And the problem with that is when you need a rest, you're kind of struggling to find places to pull into. And when it's dark, you've not got the visibility like you have during the day for making these manoeuvres. So get out there, get your hands dirty, take the bull by the horns. You know, you've paid for this thing, get on with it. That's my advice. And just have a go. You know, have a look, see what's out there. You might have decided in your head that shifting pallets all the time is for you. You might come to do the job and realise actually you find it boring as hell. Because some jobs you'll end up just staying in distribution centres for hours on end, and that can absolutely do your head in. So I've gone from doing that to working in farms, building sites. We still do the odd distribution centre, but we don't do many. And I've certainly not seen a Tesco's since I started here. Not that there's anything wrong with Tesco's, it's just the hours of boredom while sat in places. I like to be productive, I like to work. There are some days when I wish I was sat in a distribution centre, especially when it's heafing it down with rain. There's a new word, heafing. Heafing it down with rain, and you get an absolutely chock-a-block wet through. I've got to be careful with what I say because I know there's kids watching. We all know the adult versions, but yes. You take a day at its face value and you just get on with it. Just do it, have a go. When I first started, as you know, with Maxi after the agency work, and they started me off on night shifts, and I'm used to working nights, I don't mind nights at all. It did me a lot of favours because the roads were quieter. When I say the roads are quieter, the roads are quieter, but you also find they do a lot of road works through the night. So the routes you'd expect to take sometimes aren't the way you end up going. So you've got to kind of be on your ball a little bit, or on the ball a little bit, with what's going on around you. Especially for planning your brakes, because obviously if you're expecting to go down the M5 and stop at Shrensham, but they're doing some road works, you need to know this, because you're not going to be able to stop at Shrensham, so you need to find somewhere else to stop. And just be aware that when you first start, see, it wasn't too bad for me because I'd done 20 years on the coaches and with 7.5 ton stuff. I was used to using a tacho, and I know how tachos work. I'm used to using ratchet straps, I know how they work, and I knew how to get onto a loading bay. I kind of knew how that worked. So I had quite a head start. It was just really the driving and the reversing of these things that I had to consider when I first started. But if you're brand new, like squeaky new, you can have an awful lot to take in all at once. And the trouble with this industry is it's very cutthroat. Time is money and all that, and they just like you to be in, to get loaded or unloaded and get out. They don't like you hanging around, umming and ahhing and wondering what to do. So the best thing, if you're not sure, is just to go up and ask somebody. You know, never be scared or ashamed to go up and ask somebody. Everybody had to start somewhere. And I found when I first started that, you know, the majority of places, 9 places out of 10, were very, very helpful. So much so that they'd actually stand and help you to reverse onto a bay. They'd guide you round and talk you through the process. And I know some of the older guys that have been doing this, the die-hard lads, will say, well, you passed your test. If you passed your test, you should be able to do it. Not anymore. I think things have changed an awful lot. I can remember going out with my uncle, and I can remember watching, because we had a couple of places where we lived, TNT and a few other places, cash and carries, and there wasn't as much of this distribution centre, like we've got now. I mean, Amazon has sprung up out of nowhere, eBay, these kind of people or businesses that require huge distribution centres. So that wasn't around 20 odd years ago, 30 odd years ago, or maybe not as much as what we have now. So I know they had their fair share of womble jobs. I know we're quite lucky now with restricted roads in some senses, but they probably didn't have as many restricted roads back then, and certainly no sat navs. So the job's probably got a lot easier, to be fair, over the years, but it's still very difficult when you first start. There's still an awful lot to take in, and all the health and safety stuff that we have these days, you've got to take all that into consideration too. So it is a bit of a minefield. It is, there is a lot to take in, there's a lot to take on board, and you'll probably find in the first few months, first 6 months or so, that you're getting infringements and people are saying, oh, why haven't you done this, or why haven't you done that? And it's just your head's gone to mush. So probably a good bit of advice is to get yourself a job, get yourself started, and then just give yourself a few days off. Maybe after a couple of months, do a couple of months and then just have a few days off. Let everything settle back down again. And then when you go back to it, you'll be surprised just how much actually falls into place. Give yourselves a bit of time. But the beauty is, when you start a new job, you just need to tell them what pre-existing holidays you have, and most places will let you have it. So book yourself a few days off if you can afford to do so, but I think it pays in the long run to do that. So take everything on board for a couple of weeks, and then have yourselves a few days just to let it all sink in, and you'll hit the ground running. But don't forget as well, I'm on Facebook. There'll be a link at the end of the video. It's also in the description underneath the video. Get yourself onto my Facebook page if you're not already, and if I can help with anything, I certainly will. I'll do my best. Right, I've rambled on for a quarter of an hour. That's more than enough. If you're still awake, well done. And if you've recently joined me on my videos, thank you very much for coming along. Thank you very much for sticking me out. And for those of you that have been with me since the beginning, awesome. Everybody's awesome. And thanks for all the comments. I do try and answer all the comments on both Facebook and YouTube. And if I've missed anybody, I do apologise. I think I've got everybody. But give me feedback, and don't forget to press the thumbs up, share my videos, share my Facebook page, and do feel free to ask questions. That's what I'm here for. Right, I'm going, and we'll catch up in a bit. Ta-ra! Okay, well, we've done our delivery, and now we've got a collection about 3/4 of an hour away. It's 3:45 now, so should be there about 4:30ish. 17 pallets to collect, and we're going out towards Canterbury. We've got one drop in the morning that must be done between 6 and 8, and then Canterbury after that. And hopefully we'll just be straight back from there. Yeah, we'll see. The delivery went okay. We were in there just over an hour, and they already had a couple of trucks in getting unloaded when I turned up, so I had to wait outside for a little while. Oh, just concentrating on the driving there. Bit of a tricky roundabout, that one. I know you can't see it, but just needed to watch what everybody else was doing. I could do with a drink, and I don't mean beer, I mean just a drink. I'll go with one out of my fridge in a minute. So yeah, we've got a collection to do about 45 minutes from now, and then we'll try and get a little bit down the road, because it's the first place we're going to. Could be getting on for 3.5 hours, so to make sure that we get there on time in the morning. I'd like to try and make sure we can get some of the journey done tonight. But that of course depends how long it takes to load me. And hopefully they will load me, because if they don't load me, we might have a bit of an issue getting home tomorrow night. Anyway, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. I'll go in for a drink. So what I found in my infinite wisdom was the fridges in these Mercs. You can fit the 1.25 litre bottles of Diet Coke in there, standing up at the front. And we were buying kind of 2 of the smaller bottles of Diet Pepsi, or Diet Coke, whatever it was, Diet Coke, for each day. So there was like £10–11 worth of Diet Coke, which I'm not that keen on anyway, but sometimes you just need a bit of a buzz. And to be fair, I wouldn't drink it all in a week half the time. Sometimes it'd last a couple of weeks or a week and a half, and then as they caught up, wouldn't have to buy them 1 week, that kind of thing. Found last week that the 1.25 litre bottles, which are a fraction of the cost, I can get 2 of them in. And when one's empty, you can fill it with orange squash, which is much better for you than Diet Coke, I think. So there we go, a little snippet of information for you. This is a really bumpy road. Not as bumpy as it was a couple of weeks ago though, in the other Merc. So yes, I've got a smile back on my face. What we'll do, we'll have the other camera going a little bit. Oh, it is raining. We'll see what we can see. Enjoy the scenery a little bit while we can, and make the most of the light while we can. 10 to 4. Another couple of weeks it'll be dark by now. Okay, enjoy the scenery. We shall see you in a bit. hopefully I'll be back once I've done the collection, just with a little bit of an update, and we'll sign off a little bit later on. And at some point I'll do a bit of a walk around of this truck. It's basically exactly the same as the other truck, just newer and a bit more refined. Next set of traffic lights, we'll put the other camera on. Ta-ra for now. There we go, we've done the collection. It's now 5:15. So what was that, about half an hour or so? Pretty good going, pretty quick. And now we are making our way back out. We are heading towards Canterbury for tomorrow. I've got 2 drops, both of them Mole Valley Farmers. It's like big pet shops and garden centre type places. First one's at Heathfield, and then we've got Canterbury after that. I reckon I'll give myself an hour and a half up the road. If I can get somewhere decent for about 6:30, 7 o'clock. That will give me a good head start for tomorrow. And hopefully we'll make it home. I'm hoping I'll make it home because poor old Tanya's mother took a fall at the beginning of the week and she's been in hospital all week. I thought she might have broken a hip to begin with, but turns out she's just badly bruised it. There might be a small crack in there somewhere, but they couldn't really do anything about it if there is, so it's just a matter of rest. But she needs a bed brought downstairs, and while she's still in hospital, that's okay, but she's on about coming out either tomorrow or Saturday. So if we can get a bed brought down, that'll be a big help for them. It's one of the tough sides of the job, is when something happens at home and you still have to work, still got to bring the pennies in. I've always been an advocate of putting your own health first, and it's always family first. And I kind of weigh up the situation. If it's a life and death thing, then there's never any stopping me making sure that I'm in the right place, because at the end of the day they'll just get an agency driver to replace you. I know it's not it's not always playing cricket, I know, but if it's the difference between dropping off half a dozen pallets and saying your last goodbyes, I know where I would be. It's quite simple. And my own health always comes first. And a big shout out to MTS, so far so good with that. I've always been upfront, I've always been honest, and so far they've respected everything that I've needed to do, which is great. So thank you very much. I've got another appointment 21st of October for my eyes. Not sure what's going to happen with that, which we'll find out on the day. But again, if they're going to operate, that's going to mean having some time off before the operation and potentially afterwards. The trouble is with MTS being so far away, it's not like I can go in and do some day stuff. This road's quite narrow that I'm on. It keeps picking up the white lines in the middle, which is a there it is. I'm not actually even going over them. I'm fairly close to them. So it's just warning me that I'm getting close. Sometimes you can't even help it. So anyway, it was dark when we started. It's almost dark. Well, we're getting that way now. It certainly will be in another half an hour or so. Royal Wootton Basset. Been a while since I've been through here. But anyway, we will love you and leave you for this week. And apologies again for the apologies again for being a bit quiet for the last couple of weeks. We've just had a few things going on. Everything's absolutely fine. Just needed a bit of time out to deal with a few things. We're back on it again now. And we should be back, hopefully, to normal. I'm actually thinking, because it's quite a busy time of the year for us now, I might just do one a week for now, which is pretty much what I've been doing anyway. Or I might have been doing 2 a week, but putting them together and making one video out of it. So I shall probably just continue to do that until things get a bit quieter, if they get a bit quieter. And I played back part of the earlier recording, just had a quick listen to it, and it certainly sounds a lot better. It certainly sounds a lot better. On the microphone. So I hope you all approve, and I hope you agree, because it's been a right mission trying to get a microphone that's half any good. We'll just stop here on a hill in the wet. Whilst you mess about in your car, hopefully we can get going. Yay. Oh, it's a busy little place. There you go. I'd like to come back to Royal Wootton Basset and have some time here just to see what's about. Go on, Mr. Bus Driver. Okay, we're in the clear. So we'll love you and leave you for now. Have a good weekend, everybody, and we'll catch up next week sometime. Ta-ra for now. Ta-ra for now. Just people being wombles.